Good morning. We are at my friend's apartment in Warsaw. So I just wanted to show you how it looks like from the 10 storage building. It's pretty high up here. Looks like this around. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about substance, about living. I'm having a tea in the meantime. So I was thinking, what I was trying to tell you. And it goes like this: the real ceremony, without any substance, without anything, the ceremony of life, to face the life. I meet so many people, well, mostly everybody, do not want to face their issues, face their love, face their fear, face their childhood, face their parents' issues. You notice that? Nobody wants to face nothing. You tell somebody, I think you have issue with this or that, or you tell neighbors something, I think you're a little bit overreacting or aggressive or something. They're like, no, 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 let me grab a drink, or let me have a tea, or let me have a bite of that cheeseburger or something. So I noticed a few years ago when I started to practice severe practice, like I'm feeling wrong or something bad or whatever that comes that don't want to go. Years ago, I stopped eating a lot. I started to eat only when I'm hungry, like really hungry, and very little portions. I was like, let's limit the amount of the food I have to process to see what happens. I stopped drinking. I stopped smoking. I stopped taking any substance that body has to process. And I did that 2 weeks ago in my regular life, when you have a drink sometimes, when you have a cigarette sometimes, when you smoke cannabis sometimes, when you whatever you do, party, when you eat sometimes too much or too less or do something else or drink coffee. It's all fine when you do it consciously and you're not overdoing it and overusing it like many people with cannabis, or simply food, or simply cigarettes, or not mentioning alcohol, whatever food you can do overeating, and it's really bad because your body's always going to be busy and your energy going to go into processing food instead of doing something else. So anyway, after a couple of weeks, after a few days, after a week of not smoking, not doing any substance, not processing into my body, putting the process of digesting something, I started that the facing real you, the facing issues, the issues start to come up. Some little anxiety, some little not comfortability. So you started to really feel your energy, like what's in your core. And I was working too much, and it really put me in a bad position, like in the rehab. You hear about people drug addiction or alcohol addiction when you go to rehab and you started to facing it, and after a few days you're like really sweating and your body asking for something, and that's what I was feeling. And not the first time I was feeling when I'm quitting not even one cigarette, no drink, no cannabis, no nothing, not too much food, I would say less food, and then my body goes a little bit like this, and something in me is starting to coming out. I'm starting to facing my issues, that I was eating too much, for example, even though I'm really skinny, healthy guy. So after a week, I started to feel like in the rehab that I have to face some of the. I don't have any strong issues. It's just life issues, that was just coming out of me, like some little things. So I wonder what's happening when you have a strong issues with your parents, with your childhood, with your work, with everything. But it's a kind of deep ceremony. That's why I wanted to mention this, that the ceremonies without substances, the ceremonies just using the time itself. So it doesn't have to be strong ceremony, it doesn't have to be substance. It can be something al revés, we say in Spanish. like all opposite way. You just quit any substance, you just quit any distraction, anything that is distracting you, just quit it, you know. And I was working a lot during the time, so it was draining my energy, and I didn't have any distraction. And body and mind do not like it. They feel uncomfortable when there is nothing to distract, like you don't have any cigarette, you don't have any special meal, you don't have any special sex or something that takes you over completely, and then you start to feel your issues. And I was meeting a girl a long time ago, I was meeting many friends some time ago, and still, that are having issues with anxiety, with depression, with something. And I'm always saying, like, one day you're gonna have to face it without taking pill that day that it's coming up, without doing something or doing overeating, over sleeping, over resting, over something, that you're gonna have to face it, that you're gonna have to do the ceremony of life, that you're gonna have to face how you really feel, who you really are. That's what you're gonna have to do. And that's what I was telling them. And of course, they didn't listen. Nobody likes that. Why would you do a week without this and that when your issues start to come out and you're just feeling, let's call it like it is. You start having some problems, having some issues, you know, and which you don't want to face. That's why you drink, that's why you smoke. So even during the time I'm having the rehab coming into me, into myself, to see my issues, my emotions, my everything that is coming out or not coming out because it doesn't want to come out. Every time I'm having even one cigarette, you know, it's not about addiction or breaking something. It's just distraction. I see the energy start to change, you know, the nicotine or coffee, it just start to changing process in me, and it's already distracted. The process of me is already distracted. The pure process of my energy to see what kind of vibration energy I'm having at the moment, at the month, at the week, at the day, and now it's already distraction. It's distracted. It's already taking care of some substance, something, some, if you would put into body like a lot of, I don't know, cannabis or some drugs or something, it totally takes you over because the body and chakrams and everything has to take over the process. And the same with the food, the same with the sugars, you know. Many shamans say like they wouldn't drink a can of coffee because it's just not good. Because to process that, they would have to change their mind, you could say. One could say they would have to change their mind because it's gonna change their process in body, emotion, and everything. And another funny thing, that day that I want to record that video, actually, I went to sleep pretty busy. At 11, 12, I was still working, doing some work at the computer, and I was watching the TV series at Netflix, like The Suits, which become a little bit more dramatic than before. So more drama takes action into the series because they have probably no other chance to express the scenario of this pleasant thing I was watching before. So I went to sleep in the work vibe and watching this show, and I was having really terrible dreams that I noticed that because of the thing you watch before going to sleep. Well, it's pretty natural, but we all do it, and I still do it sometimes, you know. I watch a crappy, not even crappy, you know, I don't watch sensational movies or horrors, never, since years now, but I do watch some, I don't know, action of life, let's say, series or movie or something that is not that aggressive actually, but it's already changing something in me. And during the sleep I have a dreams that the stuff start to come out, and then I wake up in the morning and the energy is like I have to fight to survive with me, with myself, not with the life. The life is the same, it's peaceful, you know. The sun is coming up, it's coming down the same. It's just what changes, the irritation, lack of energy in me, the bad emotion, we could say it, just got me irritated and trying to strive for life. But it doesn't have to be like this. So this is another thing I'm mentioning pretty often, to do the meditation before the sleep, to practice, to do the relaxation, to watch something good, to listen to few enlightened guys like I usually do, to read the book of the shaman, to see something nice, to put your mind at calm. Not only mind, because you're gonna read the book for 15 minutes and you're gonna say, oh, my mind is calm now. Yeah, no, that's not true. It takes a half an hour to switch in the vibe. It takes me from work vibe when I'm working still at 10 p.m. to switch it to really good and abundant and everything is possible vibe. It just take an hour or two actually. So this is also the answer to my work or something else, that I should be doing the work in the way that is reaching to the higher vibe, or change the work to one that is already in the higher state of mind and vibration, or is helping me with that to reach that, because you can do actually anything and to be in the good vibe, but some of the things is gonna put you a little bit lower or a little bit more stress, or you cannot handle it yet, so you're not ready yet to be in the good vibe and do a lot of work. For example, it took me years not to stress in work in my company, for example, because I have pretty complicated, one of the most complicated professions in the world. So it took me a while not to stress in the company, not to stress with money, not to stress with people as well. It's a matter of experience and experienced observer. So this was all about the substance, how you can make a ceremony without using any drugs, without going to psychiatrist, just being an observer and just be with yourself what kind of stuff is coming out. And I'm telling you, when the first time you're gonna do it, you're probably, well, maybe you will. I didn't fix all of my stuff. Actually, I didn't fix nothing. So it's just watching yourself, and then you can compare what you see in yourself, what kind of vibe is coming out, what kind of issues are coming out, contradict it with enlightened people who say, think about abundance, feel the abundance, look for abundance, be the universe is here and everything is possible, and contradict all that you're carrying in you that is not comfortable or is something that you wouldn't choose consciously, into the abundant thinking and emotion of everything is possible, and we're gonna reach to whatever you wish, but in a good conscious way, also being an observer in that process. So I'm thinking this is kind of an exercise, this is kind of experience, this is something very little amount of people are doing on earth. Few people I know that are living like this. If you're living like this every day, every month, you don't have to do that rehab, you don't have to do facing yourself, because you're always sitting here on the couch, having tea, enjoying. There's nothing to fix, there's nowhere to be, there's nowhere to run, there's nobody to love. Well, you can love somebody, or you don't. It doesn't matter. You're in the presence, you're trying to feel that love in you, you're trying to pass it if you have a chance. If somebody taking it, okay. If somebody don't, that's alright as well. Maybe they're not ready very often, even though they say like, oh, they need a lot of romantic love right now. Loveful, and then you give it to them and you see all they are doing are just taking the energy and love from you, not giving any love, actually not giving any energy, not giving too much attention. The only attention they are giving is to receive. So that's not really love. I was talking with my friend, one of my best friends, my brothers from the childhood, and I was talking about that ego relationship, what I think about all of those relationships I see around, that is just taking, receiving, all the relationships. But this is a different subject. Here I wanted to talk about the substance, that is the substance and the life itself. It's all good. So it's not that I'm saying like, do not smoke, do not drink, do not gamble. I say like, do everything that excites you, but do it consciously. And do not overuse it, because if you're gonna spend 3 nights in a row in casino, you're gonna see it's gonna push you down probably, or take you over. You're gonna see your vibe is like hectic, you're gonna be irritated, maybe it's gonna drain your energy. That energy is gonna go somewhere. It's not going into the ground or to some beautiful person, it's gonna go probably somewhere else. That energy, that process of life, that you have to digest the energy, that you have to produce it, that you have to take it from the universe. 3 different energies, I say, different kinds of energies you're processing every moment. So I wanted to say, face your life if you have a balls to do it. If you have questions, contact me or contact somebody else who's doing it. Or see the people who are doing it every day, the peaceful, beautiful people who do not have to do the rehab, who do not have to do the switch because they're already switched forever. So much awakening in them or enlightenment or whatever you would call it, that they're just it. They don't have to do anything more. There are people like this and they're just beautiful, and you can learn from them each day, to be around them or to have a contact with them or see them somewhere on the website, and it's just beautiful. And I'm just regular guy going through awakening stages and sinusoid of life, you could say, which is also beautiful because sometimes I'm like feeling the awakening enlightenment is coming, and the other day I'm just feeling like every other guy going to the liquor store or something, that I feel like, lost or something. But no enlightened person, no somebody who's getting there is gonna admit that. Why? Because it's not comfortable. In today's world, everybody's so strong, everybody's selling something, everybody are trying to be somewhere, be somebody, sell something, and admitting to any weakness you have. It just, in this world, it's just showing that you're weak, basically. But the real confidence is you can say about your weakness, you can say about your strength, because you know who you are. That's the real confidence, that's the real power, that's the real truth. And that's what I see in some beautiful awakened people. They have no fear. That's what I'm talking about, awakening. Like, there is no fear. When we talk with awakened people, they tell you about their love, their broken heart, their relationship, just like this, sitting on a bench, meeting the guy for the first time. There is no fear, there is no judge, there is no judgment between us when we talk. Of course, there is some faults, like, oh, this guy did that, or he didn't do this, or he do not have that, or he does whatever. Of course, there is judgment, but not in the way that you would put it in a conversation or stronger in your mind. You're just observing this bullshit judgment or something, and you just be with the person, and you're just showing more love because you feel it. So this is a lot of things going on. I'm gonna move on more with exercises of life, really simple. You see, the Zen, the Buddhism, the whatever technique you're doing with yourself, the shamanism, it's really about the simplicity. It's not about going to the jungle and looking for some strong substance, even though we're doing it sometimes. Very often it's about simplicity, it's about beauty of looking yourself into the eye, in the mirror, and not denying what you see, whatever it is, facing it slowly. You don't have to do it one day, 1 week, or 1 month. I'm doing it during the many years. I'm facing myself many times, and there's always something more to face, and there's always something I would like to change, and there's always better version of me. I'm striving somewhere. So I'm wishing you the same, with still hot tea I have to finish. Take care. Regards from Poland, soon to be in Mexico again. Take care, guys. This was Mike from The Switch.